Hello there friends, and today we're going to discuss work till death or invests. Yeah, I think this is one of the options for the common man that isn't going to be inheriting an absolute fortune, and I definitely fell into that category. You got choices really. You're either going to work until very late, nowadays you're going to be people are going to be retiring in their 70s, and hopefully you make it till then. A lot of people don't. Or you're going to invest early and start getting your money working for you. And it was the second option I always thought was the better option. When I first left college, I actually got kicked out of college, to be honest with you. And I started working as a removal man for my father on £65 a day, I believe it was back then. Actually, it might have even been £55 a day back then. Not bad money for back then. And it was bloody hard work, to be honest, just lifting up boxes all day long, killing myself, long days, looking at the future, looking at people with the bad back and the knees and thinking, Jesus, this is what it's going to be for me. And it wasn't overly encouraging, to be honest. I thought I need to think of another way here. And then as I'm doing all these removals and all these posh houses, there's common threads that come through, and I was hearing, I invest in property, I invest in the stock market, and I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't clever enough, to be honest, to become a barrister like some of the big houses I was moving. I wasn't going to be a solicitor. Didn't really like traditional education, but I thought, well, property investing. Do you have to be overly clever? Do you have to be very smart? No, you don't. You just have to be very consistent, very disciplined, and even if you have little funds like I did, you just allocate in the right way, learn about property, learn about the different strategies, and it's on you really more. And I like that. I always was very attracted to the idea of whilst I'm sleeping, I'm still making money. Because when I was a removal man, as soon as I stopped for the day, boom, that's it, my money stopped. And I could see how then you would, if you're in that cycle, you just have to do that every day. You trade your day for money. Day for money, day for money. And what about a day you can't work, or you just really don't want to anymore? That's going to be a big problem. And that's the problem a lot of people are in. It's the rat race, isn't it? You're just on that treadmill, you've got all these expenses, you want to do certain things, and you just got to just keep trading your time for money. That is what the vast majority of people do. And if you love what you do, then you're in the lucky few percent. But then that's okay. But if you don't love what you do, it's almost, it's not great. It's like a mild prison sentence there. If you hate your job, literally hate it, for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, however long you're working for, you're not doing what you really want to do. It's not your best life. But if you chose to invest instead, at a younger age, maybe you had to do those jobs you don't like, and then you can start living off of that passive income, start enjoying yourself, start working less because your passive income's coming through. This has to be a much better option, and I believe this should be taught in schools more as well, because I know I was personally never taught about investing in anything, property, stock shares at all. And I did actually take business, and there was nothing like that. It was more like a IT course when I was there. Hopefully it's got better in today's world. But yeah, we should be teaching the youth about that. But I suppose it doesn't. The government aren't interested in people getting good at investing because they want worker bees. They want people going out there working and getting a tax revenue. But for you as the individual, and unless you absolutely love what you do and you do it for free, maybe you should start thinking about learning about investing. And even if it's too late for you, maybe you could do it for your children or your nieces, nephews, and start setting them up, putting a little bit of money away so they don't have to do the whole worker bee life, because I just don't think it is your best life to do that. I'm in a very privileged position nowadays where I only every day I don't feel like I'm working, I just do what I love to do. I teach martial arts as well and do some personal training, and I love it. If you could give me £10 million, I'll do it for free. And I love property, I love investing. So every day is a non-working day for me, with the exception of when you've got a bad tenant, or you've got someone that's just smashed up your property. Those are the very bad days, and it comes with headaches, but they are few and far between, I'm very lucky to say. But you know, if you don't even want a more hands-on investing approach like it is in property, you do have to deal with problems and issues. But if you're just investing in the stock market, it's amazing that the figures when people, you know, just put money into, say, the S&P 500, which is like the big one, big American one. You do this with something like Vanguard. There's extremely low fees. It's the fees normally that sort of take away a lot of people's profit. And just do that from a very young age. By the time you know you're middle aged, you're going to be doing very, very well for yourself. And this is just putting away a little bit of money each month and just letting the magic of compounding work in your favour. So if anyone knows anyone that's, you know, younger, they're interested in sort of bettering themselves and perhaps, you know, don't want to do what everyone else does and just work themselves into oblivion, because in the UK I think we actually do work hard. We work hard in a lot of other places. I know, like in Greece, that had a real sort of terrible work ethic where no one was really working, no one was paying tax, and their economy obviously had a massive issue as a result of that, you know, fairly recently. So yeah, just educate people and, you know, tell them about Vanguard. This isn't a sponsored thing from Vanguard or anything like that. I'll just use them myself. I'm open for anything like that in the future though. And yeah, I think they're great. And it's so easy and simple. Not, you know, only probably a decade ago, it wouldn't have been that easy to just sign up and start investing in some of the biggest economies there are. And you would have had to pay massive fees for that and known what you're doing. But now, you know, you have these things called index funds. It's super easy. You can invest in, like, you know, the FTSE 100, which is like the UK funds, and then you've got S&P 500, which is the big one, which is the American one. And you're just taking a little piece, basically, investing a little piece in all the top, you know, S&P, you have the 500 top companies in America. So as one sort of falls out of favour, another one comes up. So you're extremely safe when you're doing this, especially if you're looking for the long term. If you're just looking to invest money for 2-3 months, don't do it, because things go up and down. But if you're looking for like the longer term, then you're in much, much safer hands. And you're averaging probably like 8% return, which you think this is good, but then as you compound that over the years, it just turns into, you know, much, much bigger, crazier numbers. And we're just investing a little bit every month, and they call it dollar cost averaging, where you just invest a little bit every month. So you're not just one big lump and hoping that does all right. You just keep investing 50, 100 quid a month. And you're just buying a little bit of the market all the time, in the ups and the lows. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're not a specialist, that's what I would recommend doing. Because once again, you're mitigating your risk. You're not putting it all in at the start. Maybe it's like a really high bull market, then the market drops. That's when you can sort of come unstuck. But if you're doing it, you know, just slowly over time, just little by little, you're buying in the highs, the lows, the middle bits, and over time, you're going to get a very good, safe return on that with no headaches. You can sell them at any point, even though, you know, you should have a strategy for keeping it for many, many years if you're going to start investing. So get the youth started in this young, and then, you know, they can start enjoying themselves more as they get older. And if they are in some job they absolutely hate, they can leave, because they have freedom. And freedom in life, in my opinion, is one of, you know, the most important things. And you can never really be free in a Western society unless you have financial freedom, because you're beholden to some boss, you know, your spouse, who has some sort of financial control over you. You can't just do your own thing. So true freedom is found in financial freedom, and we should all go out there and seek it. That's it for today. Hope you like this small talk. I'll speak to you next time. Thanks for watching.